Hello and welcome to Tricks of the Asteroid channel. Today is the 3rd of August 2018 and we're on the part 6 of the Real Gender Not Transgender series. If you've been on Tricks of the Asteroid, then you would have watched the whole part 1 to 5 and the part 4, which was taken down by the Vatican. But on this particular video, it's the part 6 of that Real Gender Not Transgender series. So if you want to watch the part 1 to 4, you can get on the Tricks of the Asteroid and watch that, or you get on the channel called Concept 2 and you find the whole series of part 1 to part 5 of the Real Gender Not Transgender series. So we're not actually transvestigating anybody in this video. We just want to let you know the people that we have looked into and they're the gender they claim, so that some confusions that being passed around by the Vatican and some other YouTube channels don't sink into you, rather, and you get the wrong idea about some people because of what you've heard when you're awoken to all this stories of people not being the gender they claim as we see them on TV. So with that said, we're also going to be taking a good look and answering a question. So this video is going to be titled something along the lines of is Satan male or female? A lot of people have heard of the word Baphomet, and Baphomet, they say it's a male and a female god, a male or female embodiment of something, whatever the case might be. For more understanding of that Baphomet idea, please get our book for the most up-to-date details. And also, we want to answer that question specifically today, because a lot of people are confused about the fact they think that Satan is a woman, all right, and not a man. So we're going to answer that question today on this particular video. And we're going to talk about a few other things, and we also have a 7-minute delusional comment section. When we started making videos, all right, we were trying to make people to come to the reality of their world and what's really going on. We never ever thought that we would be facing a lot of hate for that, and hate especially coming from other YouTube channels which have been lying to people for so long, and their subscribers as well. And the videos that we make, some people might find it annoying. We have no intention of being annoying, but if we want to be annoying, we want to target a very specific set of people, which are the delusional, ignorant fellows, people who have no common sense or reason in their thinking, and just believe whatever that's being told to them without thinking and reasoning with their brains that was given to them by YHWH. All right. So if there's one people that I hate more than the Vatican, is people who are delusional, who have no common sense or reasoning. So if the videos are very annoying to them, we gladly accept that, because we want to get rid as much as possible everybody that's delusional and ignorant with no common sense or reason. We want to get them all off this channel. We have so many of them lingering around. They dislike the videos, they put a thumbs down and whatever. We don't really care about you. We care about those who are concerned for the truth. And like we've stated before, truth is not for everybody. It's not for everybody. We are not under any obligation to make videos. We are not. Nobody's paying us to do this. So that means we are not obligated to answer all your questions. All right? We are not obligated to do that. You did not put us here to do that. All right? If you ask questions, if you're asking questions, you should be able to answer them for yourself. So what we're doing right here is putting the time and effort, all right, to answer questions that you should have done for yourself. So when you come up, some people say that, some people think that for example, that if they buy a book for us, because most times they ask questions, we say just get the book and get your answers. They think you're doing us a favor, all right? They think that you're doing us a favor by getting the book, that you're either making us maybe putting some making our lives better, all right, by buying the book. You have to understand, we have been here before we wrote the book, all right, and we're still going to be here without the book. So you're not doing us any favor. If you want your answers, then do what you're supposed to do. Just like you're hungry and you walk into a store and you get a meal. All right? If you're hungry for the truth, then go get it. All right? So stop fretting us with all this, and all that. We'll still be here without the book. And people have to understand this. For such a long time, a lot of people have lived great lives without the knowledge of what's truly going on in this world. So why do you think your lives are going to be any different right now? Just because you asked us the question and we couldn't give you an answer. All right? What do you think? Do you think your lives are going to be any different? It's not. All right? The purpose of all this is to make you have an understanding so you can make the right decisions. All right? So if you're going down a certain path, you can come out of that path and make the right decisions. So, because there is more to life than what we see, in the sense that even though we live in a physical world today, you have to understand that this world was constructed by another reality, and that reality presently affects us every day. So for you to live in denial of that is you're doing yourself more harm than good. So all what we're trying to make you understand is bring that reality to you so you can make the right decisions. Now, if you were never aware of it and your life was just going merrily before that, then that means this is not necessary for you. It won't make any difference. It's for those who want to make a difference that they'll pay attention to the words, to the videos, pay attention to even get some more and go and make one step further and actually get the book. So you're not doing us any favors. All right? What we know was always here before we started making videos, and your life was still going on great. It will still keep on going on great. So you don't have to make it like it's is that we're forcing something on you. We're not obligated to do anything for you because you haven't done anything for us. You don't know us. So that's just that. So with that said, if it's your first time on the channel, we hope there is not, because Tricks of the S Trade 2 is a continuation from Tricks of the S Trade, the first channel. So if your first time is the first time on the channel, we are on the Real Gender Not Transgender series. And so we're going to jump right into making you understand the visual differences between a male and female. But before that, we want to point you to watching the primer video first. The primer video is the most important video that you have to watch on this particular channel. It's just simply called Primer. There's a playlist for it, and there's about 4 other videos in there. Very, very important that you have to watch it first. Primer 2, a Theory of Surrogates, and a Theory of Surrogates 2. If you're new on the channel, you have to watch those videos before you continue watching any other video to have a firm foundation. Otherwise, you're going to be building your castles in the air and they're going to be crumbling, and you're going to have so many unanswered questions, and you won't be able to navigate your way through so many videos that we have on this channel. So if you're a new time subscriber and you've never been on Tricks of the S Trade, you have to watch the primer video. Get on the channel, look for the playlist called Primer, watch the primer, watch Primer 2, watch a Theory of Surrogates, a Theory of Surrogates 2. Then you can continue on to binge watch so many other videos that we have. Now, with every video that we make, there is a link in the description section. I'm hovering my mouse right over it. The link in the description section is going to take you to a document. The document is going to be called Male versus Female Visual Differences. we advise that you go through this document, you study it on your own, and you save it for yourself so you can know the visual differences between male and female, because it's something very, very important that you have to know. Okay, so and then when you do that, then you can continue on watching any of our videos. So since this is a real gender, not transgender or transsexual series, that means the people that we are featuring here are not being transvestigated. They are actually the gender they claim. They're not lying to us. We just want to prove that to you and take them out of the way. Now, on the real gender, not transgender or transsexual series that we do, a lot of people will come up to the channel and say, we don't agree with you. This person is not the gender they claim. You're lying to us. We are not here to make any arguments. You have to bring your facts to the table based on the female skeletal structure, which is the only way you can identify sexes, because that's the way it's done. Even from dead remains of human beings, sex is always identified by the skeletal structure. So when you say we don't agree with the people that we're featuring, that these people are liars, you have to bring your facts. Don't just argue about it. Bring your facts. Bring us your links of pictures based on the female skeletal structure, showing that the person is not designed or is designed to give birth and is lying about their gender. So like we have said before, the difference between male and female is that one sex is designed to give birth and the other is not. So a woman is designed to give birth, and because of that, she has an arch in her back. All right. The arch in her back is because the pelvis of a female is tilted forward. The pelvis of a female is tilted forward so that a baby can stay inside the womb for the 9 months of conception that she's going through before that baby is born into this world. Okay. And the arch is also extra support for the weight of pregnancy, so that the weight of pregnancy is distributed across the body, so the woman doesn't have any problems when she's walking or working, hurting herself or hurting the baby. All right. So if you notice in architectural design, arches are used to distribute support when something is very, very heavy. So you find, like, for example, the Golden State Bridge has an arch because the weight is supposed to be, the arch is there so that the weight can be distributed evenly, all right, across the bridge. So that's why a female has an arch in the back. And the arch is below the shoulder blades. A woman's back is going to be shaped like a C. If you draw it from below the shoulder blades, if it's high above the shoulder blades, it's going to form an S-shaped arch in the back. That's how a woman's back is shaped. So always remember those two letters, shaped like an S, shaped like a C. A man's back is straight up and down. So also men have longer backs. The back is going to reach out longer all the way down to the pelvis, and there's no arch. If a man's back wants to arch, it's going to arch into the shape of a D or a P, but it's going to be a straight back into the pelvis. So the shape of a man's back is shaped like a D or a P, and I always want you to remember that. So on this channel, you just can't label someone a transgender based on the secondary male or female characteristics of long arms, long torso, a brow ridge, an Adam's apple, facial hair, a big skull, a square jawline, Adonis belts, because you always have to remember the primary determines the secondary. When you go to school, all right, when you start getting into the false educational system of the Vatican, do you go to college first, or do you go to preschool, high school, and then college? The preschool is the foundation. Without you going to preschool and high school, you can't get into college. So that means if you get into college without going through the primary educational system, you wouldn't be able to function properly. So in the same way, you can base someone's gender off the secondary characteristics, because you get it wrong if you didn't get the primary right. Does it make sense? So that's all what we're showing you here. So I just want to scroll further into the document just to show you that A female's back will always arch much more than that of a man. As you can see right here is a female kneeling down. She has an arch in her back and her pelvis is tilted forward. All right. It doesn't matter if the female size, she's big, she's tall, she's small, she's fat, she's curvy, whatever name you like giving to a woman. There is always going to be an arch in a woman's back. As you can see right here, there's a female to the left of the screen, a big female. She has an arch in her back and her pelvis is tilted forward. And a smaller lady to the right of her screen, arch in her back and her pelvis is tilted forward. Nothing can change the skeletal structure of what a female looks like to that of a male, or what a male looks like into that of a female, because all this is determined at conception. So this is the only way you can determine sex, all right, is based on the skeletal structure. As you can see here, here's a very muscular female. She's doing tons of workout. She still has an arch in her back. Another one here, arch in her back. So let's go to the most defining feature that doesn't ever lie, which happens to be the hips, and how the hips of a man and a woman should look like. So let's go do that. So here's the most important defining feature that determines the sex of anybody, which happens to be the hips. The hips of a female are below her crotch. They're below her crotch because the hips have to be out of the way for childbirth, all right? With males, the hips are above the crotch. And how you know this is of how female clothes are sewn all around the world. Now, female clothes are sewn all around the world, and the measurement for the location of the hips is always going to be below the crotch, as you're watching right here. So this tape goes around, and as you can see, the tape goes around and it's below the crotch because that's the location for a female hip. Now, with all women all around the world, every location for the female hip is below the crotch, irrespective of ethnicity or texture of hair. All females have their hips below the crotch. There's nothing like what they call a shoulder to hip ratio that determines if you're female or not. It's the location of your hip, which is below the crotch, that determines that you're female. So if you're a woman and you find out that the location of your hip is above your crotch, you have to know that you were male. And someone played around with you while you were young, and now you think that you're a woman. And I'm sorry if that happened to you, but that's just fact. So with all regular females, what you'll notice is that a female starts spreading from underneath her elbows, like you're looking at this woman right here. So if you put your hands around yourself as a woman, you start noticing that from underneath your elbows, you start getting wider, and the widest point will always be your hips, which is going to be below the crotch. Females have, because of this childbirth, a woman has, a longer butt than a man. So a female butt will always start right here, which is the waist point for a female, which is above the navel. So all this all the way down is butt area. That's why a woman has a longer butt and a wider butt, because the pubic arch right here is wider for childbirth. And also females have an acute Q angle. Q angle is an angle between the hip and the knee. And for females, it starts below the crotch. For males, it's above the crotch. All right, so I want you to remember that. So if you have difficulty in trying to determine the sex of someone from the front based on what you're looking at, because when you see a woman from the back, you're going to know definitely that you're either looking at a woman or a man from the back, because of how acute the Q angle of a female shows from the back. If you run into difficulty looking at a person from the front, try to see if you can find a picture of the person from the back, because once you see someone from the back, you're going to know definitely this is male or female because of how acute the Q angle is for females. So with females, the Q angle from the back starts slightly above this bum line, but below the crotch from the front. Okay? So if you find out that you're looking at a picture of someone from the back and you find out that this Q angle, right, is so far away from this bum line, then you have to know that person is male and it's not a female. And I want to give you a perfect example in a person called Iggy Azalea, which is very, very popular. Now, if you notice right here, let's compare these pictures side by side. All right. Let's compare this picture side by side. Let me see if I can blow this up as much as I can. All right. Now, if you notice that this is a woman right here, her Q angle at where you can see this tape goes round, which shows the location of her hip, you can see that it's slightly above this bum line. It's not so far away. But if you go over here and look at Iggy Azalea, you notice this is Iggy Azalea's bum line, but the Q angle is up here. Why? Because Iggy Azalea is male and not female. Like a lot of people have been deceived to believe that she is. But Iggy Azalea is no woman. It's a transgender. So that's why this Q angle is so far away from this bum line. So with that, let's get into talking about and answering the question. If Satan is male or female, like a lot of people seem to think and reason and think that Satan is actually female. They've seen so many other, deities which are female. For example, the Statue of Liberty that is in New York, and so many other, deities that are worshipped around the world, and like the Baphomet. And they tend to think that Satan is actually a woman. Somebody took a time out to send me an email saying that whatsoever I'm saying is wrong, that Satan is a woman and Satan is not a man. So let's answer that question, and so we can continue on and show you the people whose genders are real and they are not transgenders. So to answer that question, so that people don't have any confusions, all right, about Satan, we have to look at the meaning of the word Satan first, the etymology of the word Satan. Okay, so I'm reading from this particular website, and you could pause the video at any point in time and copy out this link and go look it up yourself. All right, you want to look at the meaning of the word Satan, which is going to lay the foundation to answer the question if Satan is male or female. So it says here, Satan, noun, proper name of the supreme evil spirit in Christianity. Old English Satan, from Latin Satan, in Vulgate, in Old Testament only from Greek Satanus, from Hebrew Satan, adversary. So Satan from the Hebrew word, because people, you have to understand this. Throughout cultures and history, the word, God is a general name for all deities, irrespective of who they are. So the Romans had so many gods, the Greeks had so many gods, the Egyptians had so many gods, the Babylonians had so many gods, the Medes and the Persians, the Assyrians had so many gods. So God is a general name for all deity, irrespective of what the deity is. Now, in so many of these cultures, all right, they didn't have a name for Satan. They didn't have a name for Satan. It was the Hebrews who brought about the distinction and called the evil one Satan. I don't have time to explain all of this, but like I said, if you're interested in the truth, then get our book. All right, you're not hoarding information. You're only paying for you not answering your own questions. That's just that. It's not a necessity that you have to get the book, and we're not obligated to answer any of your questions. But if you want your answers, if I were wise, I would get the book. So your life will still go on fine even without it. So don't worry about it. If you want to get the book, then you get the book and get your answers. So let's get back to what we're trying to say here. It's the Hebrews who brought about a name for the evil one and called him Satan. All right, but what does Satan actually means? From Hebrew here, as you can see, it says adversary, one who plots against another. From Satan, to show enmity, to oppose. Now here is the crux of the word itself, oppose. All right, so you can see right here as we keep on reading, it says plot against, from the root STN, one who opposes, obstructs, or acts as an adversary. So Satan is a general name All right? For anybody who is an adversary to Yahweh. Okay? So, what does that mean? It means if you're male and you oppose God, all right? And you oppose Yahweh, let me put it right. You oppose the YHWH, the creator of us all, as some people do today who lead the world in the Vatican, or as some people who are very deluded today oppose YHWH, that means you are Satan, irrespective if you're male or female. So, if you have read in the Bible, all right, Yehoshua addresses, all right, certain Hebrews as generations of vipers, children of Satan. They were both male and female, all right, people that he addressed as Satan. What does that mean? Satan is a general name given to anybody who opposes Yahweh. That's the first understanding you have to understand. So, the reason why people get so confused about thinking that Satan is a woman is because they see maybe like the Statue of Liberty, Columbia, the Queen of Heaven, Baphomet, and all this kind of deities which are in direct opposition to the creator of us all, and they say that Satan is female. Satan is not female. Satan is just a general name given to anybody. All right? And to prove that more to you, let's read from a particular book to show you that the chief opposer, because you have to understand that any deities are in direct opposition to Yahweh. All right? Doesn't matter if you're Buddha, you're Islam, which is going to be so sorry for a lot of people to hear, and you worship other pagan deities, you're in direct opposition, all right, to Yahweh, and that means you are called Satan, irrespective of your sex. But the chief opposer who started the rebellion, who brought about angels, then brought about fallen angels, and also brought about human beings who are now in direct opposition to Yahweh, the God who created us all, the YHWH of the Bible. The chief angel who brought about this opposition is a man and not a woman. So as long as you can call any deity, either male or female, Satan, it does not mean that the chief opposer who started this rebellion in heaven and in the Garden of Eden against the creator of us all is a woman. He is a man. The Bible specifically tells you that he's a man, and we're going to make you see that as well. All right? So I'm reading now from the book of Isaiah. I'm reading from chapter number 14 in the Geneva Bible. And I'm going to be reading from verse number 16. Now you can read the whole story, but okay, let's just start from verse number 12. Isaiah chapter number 14 from verse 12 in the Geneva Bible. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning, and cut down to the ground, which didst cast lots upon the nations? Yet thou saidest in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, and exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the height of the clouds, and I will be like the Most High. But thou shalt be brought down to the grave, to the side of the pit. They that see thee shall look upon thee, and consider, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, and that did shake the kingdoms?" So the Bible, Yehoshua, Yahweh, clearly makes you understand that the chief opposer, the one that's called the accuser of the brethren, the chief opposer to which this name, Satan, was firstly imputed upon, is a man. As you can see right, he says, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and that did shake the kingdoms? Right? Now remember, Satan had said that all the kingdoms of this world, right, have been given unto him, and he giveth it to whosoever he wants to, when he was tempting Yehoshua in the wilderness. So this clearly makes you understand that this place is talking about that person, that entity, that physical spiritual being which tempted Yehoshua. And he was a man, because it says here, the man that made the earth to tremble and did shake the kingdoms. Because truly, as the Bible, as Satan had said it, all the kingdoms of the world had been given unto him. For more of that understanding, and to even know the real name of Satan, you have to get a book. All right? Remember, we're not obligated to tell you any truth. You're not obligated to tell you anything, because truth is not for everybody. If it was for everybody, we would all come to the knowledge of it and accept it. It's for those who need it. All right? So, if you want to spend your money right, and you've been told so many lies all through the years, spend your money correctly for the first time ever and understand the way things are. We are not obligated to answer your questions, but if you want the questions answered, then get the book and have it in your hands so you can have all the answers to whatever you need. So let me read some other portion of the Bible for you right here, so you guys can see that the word Satan is a general name given to everybody. It doesn't matter what deity, because you have to remember this. When the fallen angels came into the earth and married women, all right, and married woolly black-haired women, because this is fact, all right, you have to understand that the book of Enoch said that these women that these angels took wives of were sirens. What does a siren mean? The word siren there, let me see if I can pull up some information on the word siren so you guys can see what it means. So I pulled up siren here, and I want to make you understand what a siren means. Now, for example, when you have the cops or the ambulance or the fire brigade, all right, the fire trucks running through trying to save somebody, what those trucks and or vehicles do is have a siren, right? The siren is going to alert you that something is coming, so you have to give way. All right. Now, sirens were first used on to help ships avoid very bad coastlines so they don't sink. All right. So if you read from here, you could pause the video at any point in time, copy of this link so you can see the etymology of the word. It says, meaning of siren means a device that makes a warning sound on an ambulance, etc., first recorded in 1879 in reference to steamboats, perhaps from similar use of the French word. Figurative sense of one who sings sweetly and charms is recorded from 1580s. The classical descriptions of them were mangled in medieval translations and glosses, resulting in odd notions of what they look like. So a siren here is something that first has to give you a warning so you don't sink. Now, if we look at the etymology of the word siren, right, he says, it's from siren that you have such words as nymph, all right? A nympho. You probably guys have heard of that before. Someone is a nympho. Now, how did that word come to be called a nymph? A nymph is somebody who seduces and keeps on seducing and can't stop from seducing you, all right? That is the meaning of the word. So it's from such words as from siren that you have the word nymph. It says sea nymph, as you can see here, who by her singing lures sailor to their destruction. From Old French sirene, modern French siren, and derived from Latin siren, later Latin sirena, from Greek sirene, Odyssey, one of the sirens, mythical sisters who entice sailors to their deaths with their songs, also in Greek. A deceitful woman, perhaps literally binder and tangler from Syria called rope. So a nymph, all right, or let's say a siren, is attached to a woman. Now, why is it attached to a woman? Because if you read in the book of Enoch, for more of this understanding, when you get a book, you'll understand that. When the fallen angels took women and married them, they changed, all right, the natural being of this women. So it's from siren that you have the word mermaids, all right? Because most of these women, not all of them, some of them became sirens that lived on the sea and enticed men to death. All right? So a lot of these sirens were worshipped as gods also by men. So that is where the confusion comes in, that Satan is a woman. Because people have to understand that Satan is a general name given to anything, any deity that opposes God. And all these deities came in the form of Satan himself, the chief opposer. If you want to find out his real name, like I said, you have to get a book for that. And this chief opposer led other angels to rebel against God, and also led humanity to rebel against God. And humanity is male or female. All right? So anybody that opposes God, even if you're a man or a woman, right here, and you hate YHWH and you oppose him in everything, you tell lies and you want to make sure that you show your hate and disregard, like a lot of people do. You can see from people like such people as Bill Nye. There's so many of them that hate God and openly tell you that they don't believe there's any God at all. You are called Satan because you're an opposer of God. Now let me read another place for you in the Bible, just to make you see that when Yehoshua talked. And this place is from Matthew chapter number 12 from the Geneva Bible. And this particular place, Yehoshua was casting out a devil from a man, all right, from a boy. And the Pharisees said that Yehoshua was casting out a devil, all right, using another devil. So let's just read the story here. I'm reading from Matthew chapter number 12 in the Geneva Bible from verse number 22. It says, "Then was brought to him one possessed with a devil, both blind and dumb, and he healed him, so that he which was blind and dumb both spake and saw. And all the people were amazed and said, Is not this that son of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, This man casteth devils, no otherwise out but through Beelzebub, the prince of devils." So I want you to understand this, because this is a very big statement right here. A lot of people who go to the synagogues of Satan, which happens to be churches, and see their pastors or so-called men of God casting out devils, all right, from people. I want you to understand that these people are not casting out devils, all right, by the name of YHWH or Yehoshua, but they are casting out devils in the name of Jesus Christ, which is a Satan himself. I've explained that before on the video that's called Real Satanism. Get on it on the channel and look for it. It's called Real Satanism. It features, and let me actually point you to the video so you guys can know the name if you're looking for it. So the name of the video is called Kush Snaps Birds, Real Satanism and Papal Bulls, in which I go into full explanation to make you understand that the name Jesus Christ is not talking about the person you think it is. It's talking about Satan. So that place actually confirms what the Bible talks about here, in that it is possible for a demon to cast out another demon. But that aside, let's get into the crux of the matter here. And but Yehoshua knew their thoughts and said to them, "Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to naught, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand." So if Satan cast out Satan, so that means the demon, all right, that's being casted out is called Satan. And if Beelzebub is the prince of devils, as it says right here in verse number 24, that means he's also Satan. So what does that show you? that the general name for everything that is evil and opposes YHWH or Yehoshua is called Satan, irrespective of the sex. But the chief opposer that led and started this rebellion of leading angels and leading humanity against Yehoshua is a man and not a woman. And if you want to know his real name, it's all in a book. So that's what I wanted to show you. So let's stop and get into the 7-minute delusional comment section, because I have a few things I want to talk about in that delusional comment section, and then we can come back and continue with showing you the people who their genders are what they claim and they are not transgender. So 7-minute delusional comment section coming up. Hello, this is a 7-minute delusional comment section, and I just want to address a few things about certain subscribers who come up to the channel and say that we are using the book not to answer their questions. To start with, the book was actually, when we started writing the book, we wanted to make it free. But when trying to upload the information to a file share, we ran into so many problems that we couldn't do it. And after trying with so many laptops and computers that we ordered, and we could not do that, we decided, okay, this just came up into our mind. It wouldn't be the best thing to make the book free. Why is that the case? With so many of our videos and so many documents that we do put up, we are putting those documents at a risk, because if the Vatican, which controls on the information that we have, they have the money, they have the network, they have the media, they have the people, they can take those documents that we make public and they can corrupt it, and then they can make another document out of that, or make a counterfeit document and make it very, very popular, much more popular than the original copy, and they can advertise it in such a way that people are much more inclined to take the forged or counterfeit document which they copied from our own document, and people would be able to read that much more than ours, and they would make it in such a way and pass maybe some sort of disinformation into it. So that's the reason why we thought about that. It wouldn't be a very nice idea to put the PDF up for free for everybody, because the Vatican could corrupt it and they could make it more popular, and with the kind of sensitive information that our book contains, they can totally eradicate the original copy by one way or the other, by tampering and creating another copy that they can put so much in disinformation in and make people to read. So that's why we decided not to make the book to be in PDF format for free. Okay. And then secondly, the price of the book is not of our own doing, because like we've said before, it is not, we don't have any printing press, and we're being very, 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 very fair in the price that we sell the book to you. You can go around and ask anybody so that you can find out if what we're saying is wrong or right. Go around to any printing publisher physically, not something that you're meeting them online. All right, go into a physical printing press. That means you walk into that office and ask them how much it's going to cost to print a 934-page book in color. All right, and see what they tell you, because we made the book in color so that you can have the highlights and the images that will make you understand what we're talking about. So many subscribers come up to the channel and they think that we are hoarding information by, when they ask us questions, we say go get the book. The reason why we say so is this: it's time consuming for us to answer comments and emails. Okay. And secondly, when we type out the comments and the emails, you guys ask questions mostly in the middle part of a conversation. So what am I saying? You need to understand, most people don't understand the whole story They just understand the middle parts. So it's more like maybe you walked into a situation, all right, and you're seeing the cops, all right, hanging around and asking people questions. The cops are asking people questions because they arrived after an event has passed on, and the people who were the main characters in that event are either gone, and the cops are trying to ask questions to understand that event. So that's what most people do. They come in at the tail end and try to make understand the pieces of the puzzle of what really happened at that particular event. But you need to understand the whole story. So sometimes if I even have the time to respond, because I took it upon myself to be the one who who does the response to the comments and the email, so it does sound coherent. When you ask a question, what you're asking is just what the cops are doing, just trying to find out pieces of the puzzle, all right? And it's time consuming to keep on doing that. So that's why we try to make you understand the whole story by putting all this information in the book. And the videos are just part of those puzzles, all right, of the cops asking people around questions to understand what event transpired, what anybody saw, all right? So that's the whole idea about it. And you have to think about it, because a lot of people think that because we are trying to give people information and we're trying to do some good so that people can come to the understanding of the truth, they think that we're supposed to do it for free. Meanwhile, like this subscriber who called Michelle Williams right here that I'm pointing my mouse at, Michelle Williams doesn't know me, doesn't know us. I want to ask Michelle Williams, if you haven't known anybody, or you just walk up on the street, all right, would you ask that person that you just met, that you've never met before, that they should do something, or maybe give you a house, a car, a book, or food, or whatsoever you need, clothes, shoes, or anything that they have for free? Would that person obliged to do that to you? Of course not. And the next question I want to ask Michelle Williams is this: have you ever done anything for me for free? Have you ever met me and said, Tricks of the Straight, oh, I want to give you something. You've added some sort of quality to my life, and you gave me something. Have you done anything for me ever for free? You haven't. So why would you expect that I should do the same to you? Think about it this way. The book is the reason. Let me just make it this way. Make it very, very simple. If you go into a store and you buy a TV set, what you're paying for is the price that someone sat down, okay, and put that TV set for you so you could watch it. He took time, all right, out of his what he should normally do, and decided to invent a TV. So you pay the price for you not inventing the TV on your own. Okay? You walk into a store and you buy a shoe. What are you paying for? You're paying a price for you not taking the time out to create a shoe that you should wear. You walk into a store and you buy food. What are you paying for? You're paying for the time that you did not put into to cook your own food. It's the same thing with the book. The price is not even our own doing. So if you get the book, what you're paying for is the time that someone else put into to make sure that you have that information, because you did not do it yourself. That's just the way it works. We're not forcing anybody to buy the book. Like, because if you read this statement by Michelle Williams, she said, this is how people control other people or force them to do what they want them to do. Like, if you don't buy my book, we don't answer your questions. I am not obligated to answer any questions to anybody, because you guys haven't done anything for me. I'm not obligated to do so. It's not an obligation that you have to know the truth. It's not an obligation that I have to answer your questions, because you are supposed to answer your own questions. The obligation is for you to answer your own questions, not somebody else to answer it for you. I'm not obligated to do that. All right? So I'm doing this because I feel it's a need and a necessity, all right, for it to be done, so that people can come to the realization and have the I'm putting a lot of stuff that I shouldn't be doing at risk. Because if, say, for example, for some odd reason that I die today, the team dies today, life still goes on, and many of you subscribers won't even know a name. The most you can do, you will say, is, oh, I'm sorry, Tricks of the Estrade died. Oh, he did so much good work for us, and that's that. But supposing I had a family, all right, or people who are looking forward, or looking, or hoping, or looking up to me, all right, those people would be suffering, okay? And the subscribers right here who have gotten all the information of, the most they can do is say, oh, we're sorry he died, and they keep moving on with their lives. So why should you expect that I should do something free for you when you haven't done anything for me? If Michelle Williams here, because there's so many of them, there's a subscriber called by the name of CA, who said that she asked a question on one of the videos that we made the delusional attributes. We said that if you're still going to church, you're going to the synagogue of Satan. And she asked us, so where in the Bible passages are they that confirm that? And I asked her to get the book and get all your answers, because for you to arrive at that answer is not going to be something I keep typing over air, because so many people will ask the same question, and I keep having to sorry, my took something in my throat, and some people are going to ask those same questions, and I have to type. I have to keep on typing, right? I have to keep on typing and typing and typing the same answer over and over again, taking the time out of my day to do that. So why don't you just save yourself the stress and get the book? It's that easy. Save for it, towards it, and get the book, and get all your answers in one place so you can have it, instead of coming to us and asking us questions of the same thing. We have to answer to so many different subscribers and people who need answers. Just get the book. So we're not forcing anybody to get the book. It's not by force. Like we said before, truth is not for everybody. It's for those who need it. We're not obligated to answer any of your questions. We're not obligated to make any videos. All right? Just because we are doing it doesn't mean that you know us, or that it's not an obligation for us to do it. We're doing it out of concern. All right? So we're not forcing anybody. We're not hoarding information. We want you to understand the whole picture. When you get the book, you understand the whole picture. You understand some of the questions that you're asking that doesn't make a sense. So the book is more like somebody who sat down, all right, and looked at the event that you guys came in after it's finished, which happens always to be the cops trying to understand the pieces, asking so many other people questions about what they saw, but one person saw it all, sat down and wrote the whole thing down. That's all. And you're paying the price for the fact that you did not do it yourself, to go ask the questions and try to find the person who knew what transpired from start to finish. That's all what it is. When you walk into a shop, you get a TV set. What you're paying for is the time that someone took the time to construct the TV for you, because you did not do it yourself. When you pay for a meal, you're paying for the time that you did not put into making the meal yourself to eat. That's all what it is. Nothing in this world is free. Nobody has done anything for us for free. Nobody, no subscriber has done anything for us for free. Nothing. Nobody has asked us, how did you eat? How did you sleep? Do you have any food? Do you have any money? Do you have any money in your wallet? How are you going to survive tomorrow? If we are gone today, life goes on, and that's it. And we have to fend for ourselves. But we took the risk to provide the information. So we're not forcing anybody to do anything, as Michelle says here. Michelle Williams says this is how people control or people, or force them to do what they want them to do. Like, if you don't buy my book, we don't answer your questions, please. As long as I have my scriptures. If you have your scriptures, go study. Go study yourself and find your own answers. You are not obligated to tell you anything at all. We don't have any obligations at all. All right? And nobody's forcing you to do anything. The people that are forcing you to do stuff which you gladly do and don't complain is the Vatican. But here you're complaining to us. Go take up the Vatican on those so many things they force you to do that you wish not to do, and see how that goes. Instead of running your mouth over here in Michelle Williams and saying that we're forcing you to do something when we're not. All right, so that's it for the 7-minute delusional comment section. It went past the 7 minutes, but let's keep on moving. Before I go on into showing you the people who are the gender that they claim, there's just something I want to let people know. When you get on a channel, we expose so many different lies and try to put things in the correct perspective so that you understand the whole truth, especially with our book. So a lot of people always have this tendency to be to say that since nothing is affecting them, it's none of their business. So what do I mean? So for example, let's say some people are very comfortable in their lives, very, very comfortable with everything that they have and everything that they own. Family is perfect. You have money. You have everything that you need at your fingertips. You have a job. Some people, have that comfort, the comforts of life. The comforts of life are a distraction, because when you get so comfortable, not just when I say comforts of life here, it's not just talking about that you have everything you need. It's talking about the fact that whatsoever you have, or wherever you are, or whatever stage you are in your life, that you're comfortable, and so whatever that's happening around you doesn't really bother you anymore. And we tend to draw the conclusion, rather, that since it's not affecting us, it's not a problem. So for example, you can hear about that. Maybe let's say, for example, let me give the best example ever. White supremacy, or albino supremacy, as we should call it in the right sense. Now, a lot of people do not have any problems with it, because they think, okay, I'm white or albino, as it should be, so it doesn't affect me. It only affects black people. All right? A lot of people have that mindset. You have to understand this. White supremacy is the worst evil to ever befall mankind. And evil is like a fire. All right? If you've noticed, when there is a fire, especially there's a lot of fires happening in the state of California. All right? When fires burn, fires don't understand gender. They don't understand sex. They don't understand ethnicity. They don't understand, the texture of your hair or the color of your skin. It just burns everything down to the ground. So when a fire burns, a fire is not going to say, oh, you're white, I'm not going to burn you. I'm just going to go over to the black guys only and burn them. A fire is not going to say, oh, you're male, I'm not going to burn you. I'm just going to burn some females. It's not going to say, oh, I am a homosexual, I'm not going to burn you. I'm going to go burn the guys that are straight. A fire burns everything down. So what usually happens when there is a fire? So for example, let's say you live in an apartment complex and you see your neighbor's building burning over there. You shouldn't make the mistake to think that that fire might not burn yours as well, just because it's your neighbor's building. What you should do is try to put the fires out. So don't get comfortable because stuff is not affecting you. Affecting you in the sense that what we mean here in the general sense is that every law that's being passed by the Vatican, all right, and everything that they're doing is affecting us. So never think for a particular second that because you do not fall into that category, that is not affecting you. Try to find a way to make sure that these crazy evil laws that the Vatican are passing, which are all trying to guide us into hell with the devil, is not fruitful for you. Don't think it's because it's not your problem that it's not affecting you. It is affecting you. So, for example, in the year 2020, it's expected that everybody should have real ID, a real ID identification in the United States. If you don't have it, you can travel from state to state. All right? People are not waking up to this reality. It's just going to dawn on them because the Vatican slowly is tightening the news slowly and slowly. And because every time they keep passing a law, because it's not affecting you directly at that point in time, you think it's not your problem. But they're tightening the news, and slowly they're going to wind us all into a hole. And then we're going to ask the questions, how did we arrive here? And it will be too late by then. So please remember that because nothing is affecting you directly and all is well and you're at peace, doesn't mean that it's okay. Because remember, what did Yehoshua say? In the day that they shall say peace, peace. In the day that you say peace, you have come into your peace, that you're at peace, then sudden destruction will come upon you. Never be at peace because it's not affecting you directly. That's what I want to say before we move into showing you that these people are the gender they claim and they're not transgender. So we start with Alicia Vikander. She's real, not a transgender. Alison Janey is real. Amy Winehouse. A lot of people believe that Amy Winehouse died, or maybe Amy. Okay, a lot of people believe Amy Winehouse died. Let's say Amy Winehouse died, but they believe that Amy Winehouse could be, that. What's the name of this lady? That damn, I've forgotten her name. Hold on a second. Let me get the name of this lady I want to talk about. The name of the lady is Lady Gaga. A lot of people believe that Lady Gaga is Lady Gaga rather is a reincarnation of Amy Winehouse. That means Amy Winehouse didn't die, that she just came up to be Lady Gaga. But that's irrelevant at this point in time. All we were trying to show you is that Amy Winehouse was female. As you can see, she has an arch in her back. Her pelvis is tilted forward right here. And you can see how high set this navel point is and this tilted pelvis forward, because Amy Winehouse was 100% female and not a transgender in any way. That's just what we want to show you. So let's move on to the next picture. Anthony Hopkins, male, not a transgender. Asia Argento. I think is Asia Argento was she married or dating somebody by, I think his name was Bourdain. He died recently, a CNN correspondent or something like that. But Asia Argento is 100% female and not a transgender. Axl Rose. Axl Rose is male, but we know for sure that Axl Rose is chemically castrated. That means he doesn't have the chemical removal. We think so, just based on his voice, that we think he's chemically castrated, but not physical castration. Axl Rose is male, 100% male, not a transgender. Bradley Cooper, male, not a transgender. Brendan Fraser, male, not a transgender. Bruno Gagliasso, he's a Brazilian actor. He's male, not a transgender. Cardi B, a lot of people think that Cardi B is transgender, but she's not. She's 100% female. She might have had a lot of Botox surgery or whatever, but she is female all the same. All right. So Cardi B, 100% female. Next picture now. Caroline Kennedy, one of the wives of the Kennedy people. We have some very good information on Kennedy, the JFKs, and all the Kennedy family in our book. When you get that, a lot of people, those who have the book already know what I'm talking about, but they know that little mystery right there. So let's keep on going. We have Cary Grant. He used to be with Marilyn Monroe, but Marilyn Monroe is not a woman, was a male. When you get on Tricks of the Head Straight, we supply all that information. But Cary Grant is male and not a transgender. Kate Blanchett, female, not a transgender. Channing Tatum, male and not a transgender. But it doesn't matter. Like we've said, all what we are showing you, please don't get confused. We are not saying that these people are great people. They're wonderful people because they're all working for the Vatican. All what we are showing here is that they are just the gender they claim, nothing more. Do not make any role models of any of these people. They're working for the Vatican against you. Okay? So remember that. Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell, I think, was a group. I don't quite remember. Was it Guns N' Roses? He's a member of one of those groups, but pardon me if I've gotten the name wrong. But you can look up Chris Cornell and find out which which group he belonged to. Chris Cornell, 100% male and not a transgender. Kristen Bell, male and not a transgender. This is Christopher Walken, male and not a transgender. This Claudia Litt. Claudia Litt or Claudia Letts is a Brazilian singer. I think she was one of the people who performed at the World Cup that was held in Brazil a couple of years ago. She's female and not a transgender in any way. Coco Austin is married to what's the name of this guy? Ice-T, right? She's married to Ice-T. She's female, not a transgender. Colin Farrell, very popular actor, male, not a transgender. Colin Kaepernick, male and not a transgender. Connie Britton, female and not a transgender. She's not a transgender in any way. Cressida Bonas, she's female and not a transgender. Let me see. Let me just reduce this picture so you guys can actually. I want you guys to see the names on top. So in case you're looking for the names, you can find it. I'll just stretch it a little bit here. The names of the person will actually be on the left-hand side of the screen, so you guys can go look into them because this is a real gender and not a transgender series. Daisy Fuentes. Daisy Fuentes is female and not a transgender. Denai Gurai of The Walking Dead. She's also in the movie called. What's the name of that movie called again? Oh damn, I forgot the name. Is it Black Panther? She's in Black Panther, right? Okay. She's not a transgender. She's female. Dolly Parton, female and not a transgender. As you can see right here, the Q angle is below the crotch, and you can see how long the pelvic region is all the way down, which takes half the torso of a female's body because Dolly Parton is 100% female and not a transgender. Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, 100% male, not a transgender. A lot of people think because of that effeminate dance that he made for a song called "This Is America" that he's actually a transgender. No, he's not. But he's working for the Vatican regardless and selling his people. It's so sad that he's selling out his own people. But regardless, he's male, not transgender. Donatella Versace, the lady who runs Versace right now, she's female. She's had a lot of plastic surgeries messed her up, but she's 100% female and not a transgender in any way. Doris Day, female, not a transgender. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is male and not a transgender. Etha Kitt, female, not transgender. Edward Norton, male and not a transgender. Elizabeth Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen is one of the sisters to the Olsen twins. Even though one of the Olsen twins is a transgender, but she is not. Elizabeth Olsen, she's 100% female. Elvis Presley, male, not a transgender. Emilia Clarke of Game of Thrones, she's female and not a transgender. Enrique Iglesias, male and not a transgender. Fifth Harmony is a group. They're all women down here and no transgenders, but they've been set up by the Vatican to lead the younger generation away, and nobody should make any role models of them. They are not there for you. If I were you, I wouldn't even listen to their music or watch their videos. If you're a young child, I would encourage you to do so because they're leading you all away, but they're all females regardless. Gary Sinise, it's a man, not a transgender. Glennis Grace, she's a singer. She's female, not a transgender. Grace Park, she's an actress. You can see the cute Q angle is below the crotch here, 100% female, and you can see that the pelvis is also very long, and this is where her navel would be, which is so far inside the torso of the body all the way. Takes almost half the torso of the body because she's 100% female, and cute Q angle below the crotch because she is female and not a transgender. Who was this? This is the sister of Cardi B. Her name is Hennessy. She's on a lot of reality TV shows. And the only reason we think that she's on those TV shows is because she portrays herself to be a homosexual, a lesbian, but she's female and not a transgender. So if you find anybody saying that this woman is a man, she's not. She's a female homosexual, and that's what makes her popular on TV. Hilary Duff, a female, not a transgender. Holly Holm, she's a UFC fighter. She's female and not a transgender. She got beat up by a Chris Cyborg, who's actually male in that sport. So Holly Holm there is female. Jai Cudney is, let me pronounce the name right, because I'm getting into the habit of making sure that I throw out the J's because they don't exist. They're fabricated by the great grandsons of Genghis Khan, who changed the English language and brought us the letter J. So the name should be Jai Courtney. So Jai Courtney is male and not a transgender. Yake Paul. Yake Paul is male, not a transgender. Yenda Fonda. Okay? Oh, Jane Fonda, sorry to say. I wanted to say Jane, but I'm pronouncing it right. Jane Fonda is actually female and not a transgender. Yanis Yoplin is female, not a transgender. Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo is a man and not a transgender. Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is the owner of Amazon, but we know it's a lie because the Vatican owns it. They're just selling us so much nonsense. But regardless, Jeff Bezos is actually a man and not a transgender. Yanasaki is probably is a sibling to Ciara. Oh, is it? Okay, I don't think so. Let me just make sure I give you the right information. Her name is Yanasaki. She just looks like Ciara. A lot of people will say Janasaki, but like I've said before, I'm getting into the habit of making sure that I throw out the letter J because it doesn't exist, and the actual pronunciation may be pronounced like a Y or an I. So Yanasaki here is actually female. Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is female, not a transgender. Jeremy Renner. Jeremy Renner is actually man and not a transgender. Jessica White. Jessica White is actually female and not a transgender. Jodie Foster. Jodie Foster is actually female, not a transgender. Jonathan Lipnicki. Is it Lipnicki? Yeah. Jonathan Lipnicki is actually a man and not a transgender. Judith Light. Judith Light is female and not a transgender. Juliette Lewis. Juliette Lewis is female and not a transgender. Justin Theroux is a man and not a transgender. Cash Doll, she's female and not a transgender. Kathleen Turner, female, not a transgender. Katie Holmes, female and not a transgender. Carrie Holmes has something going on, but we don't know what it is, but we're suspect of her son, or suspect of her daughter, the one called Suri. We're not saying that the daughter is raised to be a transgender, but it's something that you guys should keep an eye on in the future, just in case, because when she gets older, it's going to show if it's actually female or male. But here, Katie Holmes is 100% female. As you can see, a Q angle is below the crotch because she is a woman. Okay, let's go. Katie Sagal. Katie Sagal is female and not a transgender. Kiki Palmer. Kiki Palmer is female and not a transgender. Keisha Ko. A lot of people think that Keisha Ko is a transgender, but she's not. But she's had some ribs removed that gives her an extra curvy figure. But you can see that this acute Q angle is below the crotch. She's chasing a fake standard of beauty, but she hasn't let anybody know that. She's had her ribs removed to make her waist just look a little bit thinner, but she's female, not a transgender all the same. Kid Rock is a man and not a transgender. Kirk Franklin, man, not a transgender. Christy Yamaguchi, she's a presenter on I think on one of this Vatican networks, whether it's ABC or CBS or NBC, we don't know, but the Q angle is below the crotch because she's 100% female. We just want you to take a good look at that. Lee Remini is actually female and not a transgender. She's always trying to stoke up stories about the Church of Scientology, trying to make us not look at the Vatican for that they own the Church of Scientology, which she was a member of, a Vatican stooge. Nothing truthful from these people. Lenny Kravitz, male, another transgender. LL Cool J, male, another transgender. Luis Caramigel is a man. It's not a transgender. Matthew McConaughey is a man, not a transgender. Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, there's a lot of sad stories going around that she's actually a transgender, but she's not. She's just among the royal family lines of, the Vatican, on the great grandsons of Genghis Khan, who actually lead it. As you can see right here, she has an arch in her back. And you can see this acute Q angle is below the crotch because she's 100% female and not a transgender, Meghan Markle. Merlin Ortiz is female, not a transgender. Michael B. Jordan, male, not a transgender. Michael Fassbender, male, not a transgender. Michael Jackson, chemically castrated but still a man, not a transgender. He wasn't physically castrated, chemically. That means just taking some hormones, but he still has his male genitalia intact. They may not be functioning as they should be, but he's a man. He was a man and still is a man. All right. Michelle Pfeiffer is female, not a transgender. Mike Tyson is male, not a transgender. Millie Bobby Brown is is female, not a transgender. Miranda Cosgrove is female, not a transgender. Missy Elliott is female and not a transgender. Michelle Hope, Ben of Disney's Descendants, is male and not a transgender. Neo is a man and not a transgender. Now DeMarco is male and not a transgender. Paula Abdul is female and not a transgender. Prince is a man, and not a transgender, but serving his Vatican people and trying to lead so many people astray with worship of false deities and worship of Satan himself. Like, remember, we've told you Satan is the general name given to every deity. It does not mean that the chief opposer who started the rebellion of angels and man against Yahweh is a woman. Satan is a man. We've showed you that on this particular video. Let's go. Priscilla Fontaine is female and not a transgender. Queen Latifah, female, not a transgender. Queen Rania, impostor royalty of Jordan, because like we told you before in all the histories that we've made you understand that everybody who's white or anybody who has straight hair, all right, today residing out of Asia, all have Asian blood. That's just fact. Okay, for more of that information, please get a book where we describe everything so you understand that everybody who's white today in this world is Asian and has Asian blood if they're residing out of Asia. All right, that's just fact. And they are not first generation. Should I even go into this? I can't even explain it because you have to get the book. When you get the book, I was trying to say something, but it's going to be long-winded to explain it. When you get the book, you'll understand that. So let's keep going. Robert Downey Jr. Sorry, I went too fast. Robert Downey Jr. is man and not a transgender. And so is Robin Thicke, man and not a transgender. Roxanne Modafferi is a man. Is a female, not a transgender. I'm mixing my words. Sorry, she's a woman and not a transgender. Russell Wilson, married to another man in Ciara and deceiving us that they're a heterosexual couple, is actually male. Two males there, Russell Wilson and Ciara. All right, this one is a man, Russell Wilson. Okay. Rutina Wesley of True Blood, she's female and not a transgender. This is another picture of Rutina Wesley showing you here that she has an acute Q angle that's below the crotch, and she has an arch in the back. 100% female and not a man in any way. But she's just one of those, black women with extra long arms, but that doesn't make her, to be a man. Long arms doesn't make you to be a man. It's the location of your hips, which is supposed to be below the crotch, and the arch in the back that determines if you're female or you're not. So that's what Rutina Wesley has here. Cute Q angle is below the crotch. She's 100% female and not a man in any way. And you can see how deeply set her navel is inside the torso of the body because she's 100% female and not a man. Rutina Wesley. Steph Curry. a man, not a transgender. S. Cesar, she sings, has a very beautiful voice. Sorry to say, she's female and not a transgender. Tama Braxton is female and not a transgender. Tishina Arnold, she's female and not a transgender. Tisha Campbell, female and not a transgender. Tom Cruise, male, not a transgender. Wayne Brady, male, not a transgender. Winona Ryder, female, and not a transgender. I think that's it for all the pictures that we have today. And as usual, we've come to the end of today's video. Information is on the screen. If you're interested in the book, Truth is Not for Everybody. We're not forcing you to get it, but if you want to, you get it. The price is not our own doing, but it will do you a whole world of good to have good, solid information that you can keep in hard copy format that can be tampered with, so you can pass on to your future generations. And that's what we are here to do, to give you and provide you the truth. We're not obligated to do it, but we do it because we believe it's a service to humanity and to YHWH, whom we serve. And with that, we leave you with these words: always look with your eyes, but see with your brains. I'll talk with you guys later. Bye.